Your first playoffs. Now that it's over, look back on it. How was it different than everything else?
Well, first of all, it was exciting. I mean, you're growing up watching it, you always dream of playing in it, and the dream's still there to hopefully win the trophy at the end of it. But the intensity-wise, for a young player like me, it's a huge opportunity to learn, and I'm just going to try and use that experience for next year.
How much confidence do you go into this offseason with, seeing how much the coaching staff here believes in you and the opportunities that they were giving you, and obviously moving forward what they think of you?
Yeah, it's really refreshing. Going into summer, realizing that there's a real opportunity here for me to grow my game. It's it's going to make my approach to the off-season training that much more intense, and the onus falls on me to just come in here and be in good shape, ready to go for camp.
What was the New York experience compared to playing in Columbus? How eye-opening was it to play here?
It was, I think, from the first second, just the fashion of how we got here, and showing up 5 minutes before a game and getting right on the ice of the Garden. It's night and day, just the difference between the two cities in terms of Columbus is a lot smaller, obviously, but playing for an original six team, it's exciting. There's a buzz around this team all the time, and the expectations too. It's an exciting place to play.
Was it an eye opener? Did you have to get used to certain things? Did you have to rekindle your game or retool your game for the differences in the two cities?
No, I don't. I don't really think hockey-wise was too much of an eye opener. I think maybe off the ice was more of an eye opener. I'm still struggling trying to sleep with sirens going on all day, stuff like that. So I think the biggest difference is off the ice.
Is it going to take you a little time to get used to it? Do you think by September you'll kind of be used to everything?
Yeah, I feel comfortable now. It's just again, it's so different. Everything from the cities, it's very different. But again, a great group of guys here. They made the transition, seamless for me.
Ryan McDonough just.
How much of the exit interviews was, or maybe it wasn't, is just that now that you've done this, more is expected next season, and you can't let the game slip?
Yeah, I think really the expectations are going to come from myself, and I'm going to hold myself to a high standard. And again, I have a really good opportunity here, and going into this summer, it's going to be very big for me. And I'm aware of the training camp here and the demands physically, so I'm just going to approach my training, with focus and intensity this summer.
How long do you usually stay off the ice before getting back on? And is this going to be a little different because you're later in the period right now?
Yeah, I don't. Again, it's a new situation for me, going a little later in the summer playing hockey. But I'll give myself a week, 10 days before I get back on the ice. But I just let my body heal. But I enjoy it. Really, I'll go hang out with my brother late at night, go skate. So. I don't really know. Don't really have a date set.
Anything other than the teeth you gotta get addressed over the off season?
Yeah, just my teeth. So get some summer teeth.
Ryan McDonough just talked about the poise you had in the playoffs, in your first playoffs, and said he remembered his first playoffs and that you were so far ahead of the curve. Taking a look at the young defensive core, and you're a big part of that. What do you see going forward, and what kind of leadership do those guys, McDonough and Girardi, provide you?
Yeah, I think Mac especially. Watching him from another team, you could, especially last year, you saw the evolution of a player that really stepped in to be one of the premier young defensemen in the NHL. And for me to see those guys and watch them on the bench, but also just the way they prepare and their professionalism day in, day out away from the rink too is that's really priceless for someone like me to look up and see that.
How about playing behind a guy like Henrik Lundqvist, the most goalie?
Yeah, he definitely saves you behind a couple times, that's for sure. He's you're talking about it with Girardi and Del Zotto and McDonough. You see the professionalism, and there's no fluke with. He puts the time in away from the rink, and that's really big. I don't think a lot of people realize just how hard he works away from the game.
Do you think the fact that you played